What's up, everybody? The stock gauntlet continues. We have now Viking Therapeutics as our number 2 of 17 stock that we're going to go over with the original trade setup and kind of review where we are at now and where we're potentially going to be going. So I shared this name back on November 3rd, and we are down about 4 to 7%. When I first shared it, was somewhere up here in the 72 to $76 area. And when I shared it, I said we had this breakout of this nice bull flag here, and I would nibble in as we come back down and start retesting these 9 EMA and 21 EMA markers. And that's exactly what we did. We came back down here, as you could see. There's this nice volume shelf here from $63 to about $66. We've kind of been hanging out in there. I started nibbling on the way down, and I probably have about 30 or 40% position in this name as of right now, with a cost basis of around $66 per share. So we're down a little bit from where I entered and nibbled into. I got some options up here and holding some shares as well. Like I said, only have a 30 to 40% position built out at this time. I'm waiting for this confirmation. Um, I I don't really see any crazy negative news with this name. I think there's been a lot of bullish news around this name. I think the sector is just kind of weak at this time, and yeah, I don't know. A lot of analysts have $100+ price target on this name, and I think we just have to be patient with it, like I am. I'm just kind of waiting to see how this week plays out. So it's still it's I'll get into like the high five setup here. I don't want to say it's still a high five setup because technically it's not, but I'm gonna show you what I'm seeing. So the there's a weekly chart on VKTX Viking Therapeutics. We had this bull flag breakout. We are currently in a retesting period. We want to see this candle end, right at or above the retest area, and then have a nice follow through and confirmation bounce next week. So then we can then say we are going to be going higher, right? So when you have these breakouts of these patterns, you want a breakout, retest, confirmation, and then you will continue higher. So the high five setup is going to be your trading pattern of some sort. Typically, you want that pattern to have a breakout, and you can enter on the breakout, take some gains, take those gains, funnel them back into the company on the retest, and then nibble in on the retest. And as they bounce and confirm that they're going to go higher. Second thing is going to be a volume shelf, which we do have here. Next is going to be a bullish MACD, which we do have a MACD increasing to the upside over the zero line on the weekly, and continuing to make higher lows. And our blue MACD line is still over our orange signal line, which is bullish. Our RSI is still technically in an uptrend. It is a little bit of a um, bearish sentiment area right now, but again, it's a weekly, and this could change if we get a nice pop this week or next week. But I'm just looking at it as an overall trend that it's still rising higher. If we drew channel lines in here, we can easily see that it's still heading higher. It's just being choppy along the way, right? And then finally, we have our stochastic here, which you can see with the stochastic, it has been moving up higher through the sweet spot. We had this pullback right here, as you can see. We drew our box to the bottom of that pullback. And yes, we are red down through yellow, which is a bearish move on the weekly trend here. But we have to take everything into consideration. The week's not over, which is why I'm waiting for tomorrow and Friday. The week's not over on this name, and we have not broken down under our box here. Okay, so we haven't broken under our box. We're still uptrending on the MACD, and we're still uptrending on the RSI. So again, I don't want to say that we are in a high five setup because we don't have all the ingredients for a high five setup. But when I did get into this name, it was a high five setup. So now I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting. We're having some funny moves um, in and around this retest area, which of course it could break down, but it's really been bouncing off that 9 EMA and 21 EMA really nicely and sitting on this volume shelf and bouncing off that really nicely as well. So no high five setup here anymore, but I'm giving it a little more time to see what my indicators do. Right. So if we go up here to our Williams R, like I'm always telling you, you want to draw a box to your first big pullback, which we did. We have broken that pullback. We are still, again, technically uptrending. And as you just saw, I don't know if you saw that, but that just ticked back up. And that's what I really want to talk about here. Again, it's Wednesday at 2 p.m. We have 2 more hours until market close. If this name decides to run the next 2 days, it's going to pull back up here to where this support is, and we will not have a confirmation of the breakdown. Now, if we get into Friday and it's still down here, I'm going to look at my other indicators, and if we still have 2 of the 4 indicators here saying that we are not going to that we are having a bearish divergence, well, then I will exit this position. I'm just giving this time. Um, I've been doing this long enough. I'm confident enough in this strategy, and I know what I'm looking at here. And I'm not getting shaken by this pullback. It is vicious, but this name is a very volatile name. I told you all that whenever I called out this name on November 3rd. I told you, like, hey, you know, we're up here or whatever. You need to wait for a pullback and a retest and a confirmation before entering. How I trade is different than how you trade. I like to nibble into the position and then really finish building out my position fully once we get that confirmation that we are bouncing and going higher. That way I can kind of get like a nice um, average price and average options price and share price at around that bounce area instead of waiting and then only having a buy price up here or getting in too early and only having a buy price up here. You see what I mean? It's it's massive. It's a massive difference between your losses potentially and also between limiting your upside by getting in too late. So you never want to get in too early, you never want to get in too late. You kind of want to like spread it out and nibble away and then, kind of like dollar cost averaging, but in trading terms. So that's kind of my strategy with it. So as you guys can see, I'm just kind of waiting on this name. I haven't been shaken out. I'm down a couple percent, like I said. Not really worried. We have so many other winners going on right now. Out of the 17 stocks, this is the second one I'm going to talk about and give you guys an update on. Out of the 17 guys, I've exited 2, and this is the other. This is the third one that is that I haven't exited yet, but it is down from when I pitched it to you. But can we just talk about the 14 other names that I've pitched to you over the last month and how they are all up, some massively, some over 35%, some multiple over 20%, multiple under over 10%. So, if you're hyper focusing on one play, let's just zoom out like we do with the charts and let's look at my overall standing. I'm 14-3, guys, and I still have room for this name to still maybe go my way, and then I'll be 15-2. So if you're a football fan, I don't know why, like, how you wouldn't want your team to be 14-2 or 15-2 or whatever, right? You want that. That's a really great record, especially in trading. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Also, and one other thing I wanted to point out before I get into the next video and end this one, we have this higher low right here after we had this. So we had this pullback, this support, and then we had this shoot up, and then we had this next support, and it's higher than the next, right? So you see that? Look what the Williams R did at the same time. We had a low down here close to our bottoming out area. And then we had a higher high where we are at right now. So that's on the daily chart. So again, the daily chart is going to show you quicker moves and where we are going in a shorter period. I really like seeing that. I really like seeing this divergence out of the gulag that is Viking Therapeutics, because on the weekly, this could mean that the next day or two that we really start running up here to the midpoint of our Williams R, which would then bring, like I said, our weekly Williams R. It would suck it right back up here into our box, and then we would continue sideways as we continue higher. So don't count me out on this name yet, everybody. It might be a loss. It might end up being a loss. Some of you guys, if you did enter it, you might have already exited because of the volatility. All I can say is I tried warning you, and we all got to play our own books. But look at my scorecard. I'm still, as of right now, 14-3, way up, and you should be too. So I appreciate all of the support and love. And again, this is just 2 of 17 of the gauntlet. So I'm gonna end this video and get into the next one. Show some love on this video. Have a great day. See you in the next one.